Good morning from my absolutely frigid office. I hope you are all doing great. I hope the week is starting well for you and you are getting excited for the Super Bowl if you are a football sort of person. I just want to give you a little bit of a rundown so you can know what to expect this week. So we have already made it to module number 2, which is really exciting. And honestly, I'm going to just go ahead and say I think this is going to be one of my favorite modules. Really starts to dig into one of the most fascinating and interesting parts of persuasion, I think, at least, and that's attitudes and how we understand people's attitudes, how we use people's attitudes, and how we just use the concept of attitudes when we think about creating, delivering, and consuming persuasive messages. So as you're doing the readings this week, I want you to really start to think about your own particular attitudes and how that impacts or affects the messages that you end up consuming, and also the messages that you end up sharing with other people. And I think it's a really interesting sort of reflection process to acknowledge how much our attitudes shape what we do and what we say and how we interpret things. Along with that, though, I want you to constantly be thinking about how important the ethical component is to attitudes, especially in the creation of persuasive messages. It is a very fine line between understanding how to use what we know about attitudes to our advantage and how to use that and manipulate people. And we really want to make sure that we are not toting that line too closely and teetering into that area where we're manipulating people's emotions and their attitudes. That's not ethical, and we don't want to do that. So be on the lookout for some really interesting reflective processes as you go through this week's reading. Just a few things about the discussion boards. Last week's discussions were really great. Thank you so much for that. And all of you came up with phenomenal ideas for the causes, organizations, or issues that you are passionate about in regards to health communication or just like public health and social health. So I honestly don't have any concerns about any of the suggestions that you all came up with. So I want you to go ahead and go forth thinking about your project within the context of one of those organizations, causes, or issues that you identified. And I will be posting more information about that final project here this week so you can really start to wrap your mind around it. And if you come up with any questions or you're struggling to figure out how your passion can fit within the realms of this project, reach out to me. We'll talk through it and we'll figure out a way to make it work. Because ultimately, I want you to work on something and create something that you are truly passionate about and that you really care about. And so let's figure out a way to make that happen. So be on the lookout for that real soon. And honestly, that's all I have for you this week. Like I said, your posts last week were really great. I was super impressed. So keep up the good work. Do make sure that you are responding to your peers. Make sure that you're posting on time. Some of you are creeping in a little bit late. And then also check back throughout the weekend so you can respond to your peers' questions and open up that dialogue with them a little bit more. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be glad to help you. And on that note, have a wonderful week, and I will hopefully talk to you soon.